But just to give y'all context, this video was made by a black woman who was enjoying breakfast at Tiffany's, and they noticed that this group of white women kept looking over at them just kind of like this. This is a monitoring spirit.
We have been comfortable in our skin amongst our people doing our own thing, and that has always bothered them because they have always had a God complex.
Hey fam, Gracie here once again. Welcome back to the channel. I'm hoping that from wherever you, my people, are watching this from, you're doing alright and God has protected you and preserved you very well. And if you continuously give support to me on here, that really means a lot to me. So thank you so very much for your support. As always, you do have an interesting episode to react on. Now this is a palm-colored woman that spews a lot of secrets and goes off the palm-colored code by literally telling on her people. I think whatever she says really makes a lot of sense, because I have seen a lot of us melanated queens and kings always coming on the internet to show that even when we are not minding their business, they are minding ours. Even when you're not giving them looks, they want to give you looks. They want to stare at you. They want to touch you. It's like they can't survive without minding yours. And she called them an interesting name, which is monitoring spirit. And I do agree with her, as much as that might be tough. I do agree with her. Anybody that wants to stare at you, want to be in your business each and every other time, even when you don't want to mind theirs and you're going your way, doing your thing, those are monitoring spirits. And I don't know whatever they be monitoring, but I think she makes a lot of points. But that is, sugar-coated. That is racism. That reveals that if you are present in the place, it diminishes their privilege and they feel like they do not exist anymore. Therefore, they give you these looks to make you uncomfortable so that you get out of the place. I don't know what they be thinking about, but I know for sure they mean and they know what they be doing. We are going to watch this video and we will come back and definitely talk about it.
So a lot of people tagged me in this. I didn't want to stitch the video because sometimes I get taken down for that. Like my videos get taken down for that. But just to give y'all context, this video was made by a black woman who was enjoying breakfast at Tiffany's, and they noticed that this group of white women kept looking over at them just kind of like this. This is a monitoring spirit. I know this is gonna sound crazy, woo-woo to some people. I don't care. Because in my culture, if somebody's staring at you like this, you have full permission to get up out of your seat and beat their ass. That's the thing, is like people in racially homogenous societies, they don't act like this. And it's generally regarded as really impolite to stare, be in people's business like this. This will get you an ass beating. In any other country, any other like racially homogenous country, if this was like other white people you were staring at like that, they'd get up and beat your ass because people don't like to be monitored. This is like, in my language, we call this zglazila, right? It's like you're trying to evil eye somebody. You're looking at them with like a really bad intent, a jealous intent. The reason that like westernized white women act like this and other white women start acting like this, the more that they become part of American culture, is because there's deep roots here of monitoring spirits being allowed and encouraged to exist. The word officer, right, like a police officer, comes from the word overseer, which an overseer used to oversee slaves in the fields. Why? So that they wouldn't step out of line. Okay, now make the connection. Where are they eating breakfast? Tiffany's. Tiffany is a white girl's name. Tiffany's has always been associated with like white women, Audrey Hepburn, the jeweler brand or whatever. It's been associated with like being high class and white. Audrey Hepburn with her skinny little cigarette and her pearls. These places of like quote unquote luxury have always been reserved for white people. And the overseer spirit is very, very, very much encouraged here, especially in places of quote unquote luxury. Go into any rich neighborhood and you will see a neighborhood watch sign. Yeah, that's because rich white people naturally have a monitoring spirit. Again, you can call this woo, you can call it whatever. I'm just calling it like I fucking see it. Okay. Because I would be scared to look at people like this. These are fighting words. In other countries, these are fighting words. This facial expression, it's like this poorly hidden aggression. But because white women in this country have been co-opted by white men to help perpetuate patriarchy and racism, this is something everybody needs to realize, that white women used to be forbidden from owning anything but slaves. Because white women wanted a taste of power that men have so bad, they were like, yes, great, now I'm part of the boys club, now I'm going to be allowed access into these exclusive clubs, like these places that I've been kept away from, which obviously wasn't and hasn't ever been true and will never be true. But this is the promise that white women and poor white people, they're all fooled by, is that one day you're going to get to be part of this club that black people aren't part of, that other poor people aren't part of. Like, you're gonna make it. You're gonna make it out the dirt. You're gonna be sitting in this restaurant surrounded by the kind of people you admire. Because that's how the US used to be. And it used to be this very clear distinction of white people get better things and black people get worse things, like the water fountains, bathrooms, you know, sitting on the bus, things like that. And y'all realize they couldn't have cops on every corner. So y'all realize who was enforcing all those kinds of rules. Yeah, exactly. That's who was enforcing the rules, and they never stopped. They've never stopped. And this is just a place that you're not supposed to be as a black woman. You know, you're not supposed to be enjoying breakfast at Tiffany's with the girls, because that's for the white women who gave up their sisterhood with you so that they could have access to places that they thought you wouldn't have access to. That's what it is. I know people are gonna have a problem with me for saying this, but again, I'm just the messenger. Try to have more of a problem with racism, if you could, rather than me, okay? Because let me just tell y'all, it's very clear as an outsider. It's very clear. Y'all are not hiding it well. Ask any Slavic woman, what would she do if a bitch looked at her like this? Be like, do we know each other or do we have a problem? Because why the fuck are you looking at me like that? But the reason that she's doing this and she's going to continue doing this is because she knows that she can just pick up a phone and call an overseer to enforce the separation. That's the reason she feels so confident doing this, because she thinks the black women are not going to come up to her and beat her ass. And if they do, they're going to suffer more than she does eventually. You know what I mean? Like, all she's going to get her ass beat once, but they're probably going to be punished severely. And it's exactly because of this, like, implied and assumed power imbalance that they continue to act like this, because the police officers do have their back. The other white women will take their side and will say that, you know, the black women were doing something inappropriate or whatever. That's the real sisterhood, but it's not based in womanhood. It's based in status. It's based in these people shouldn't be here. Why are they here? What did they do to deserve access to our places? What are they doing in the house? Somebody do something. Let me tell you something else. This picture and this picture. Jordan Peele was so genius and so brilliant, because, you know, it's kind of hard to put your finger on it at first. You're like, this is so weird. I've never seen a black woman act like this. Like, literally never in my life. I've never seen a black woman act like this. Especially like in her interactions with Daniel Kaluuya in that movie. Like, what is so weird and so off about her, until you realize, like, this is a white woman in a black woman's body. You realize now why she was always so comfortable being in everybody's business, going into their room and like unplugging their phone and stuff like that. Like, that's how white women act. Black women always mind their business. That's such a good way to show it, because you look at this woman and you're like, this is not normal. This is like super weird. And it really shows the weirdness of whiteness, right? Because whiteness itself is just a concept. It's a concept of superiority. It's also a concept of lack. You know, it's not an abundance mindset. It's this lack mindset of a place can only be special if certain people are kept out. It's this concept of like climbing out of the mud and looking back at the people that you were just now beside and saying, oh, ew, I could never be poor. This concept of like very palpable status, you know? And it's not the concept of like humanity or sisterhood or the fact that we're all like ultimately connected and affected by each other's actions. It's this like individuality, this like very fake meritocracy. Not everybody has the same access. Coming back to access, like that's the key, because you weren't supposed to have access to these places, right? They were supposed to always be white places. Like you were never supposed to make enough money. You were never supposed to be successful enough to break into spaces like this. It's like the same reason that men are threatened by and hate feminism, right? It's like, what are you doing here? This was not a place for you. What are you doing here? Now we're all uncomfortable. Great job. That's the attitude, just so y'all know. But at its deepest, most core level, it's a monitoring spirit. It's this idea that's become weaponized. And again, it's also because these women are not allowed aggression. You know, in order to be attractive to men, to white men, what white women think they have to be is very demure, very submissive, unaggressive. And so they practice this like intimidation, right? They try to get as close to you as they possibly can and make you as uncomfortable as they possibly can so that you'll do what they want you to do and just leave. The thing they're really after. They don't want you in these spaces because in their eyes, it makes it less special and it makes them less special because once again, whiteness is all centered around lack. It's about what you are not. You're not like them, therefore you get to abuse them. Therefore you get to tell them what to do. It's the whole mindset. That's why they're so upset. And I've seen the excuses. I've seen the white women that are like, no, we're just looking like blah, blah, blah. Stop. Stop. It's really fucking weird. You need to understand this is not normal. This is something other cultures like actively fight against. My mom always taught me to stay away from people like this, which is why I don't have a lot of white women friends. Because it's kind of like something takes over. Like I can't explain it. It's unsettling. Do without what you will. I love y'all. Godspeed.
We have never really assimilated to white America. We have always pushed away from white America. We have been comfortable in our skin amongst our people doing our own thing, and that has always bothered them because they have always had a God complex. We are the superior race, so why don't these black people want to be more like us?
You know, the most interesting thing is this does not only happen in the West, but it even happened in Africa. In some spaces, you can go to a space that is extra class, you know, beautiful, and they will give you looks. They will stare at you. Some of them will even want to come and ask you, how are you? Where are you from? You are in my country and you are asking me, where am I from and why am I here? By the way, the stares they give are very intentional and they are very distinct. And we can tell a mean look and a look of admiration. There's a look someone can give you and you know this is a compliment. And there's also a look someone gives you and you be like, they are admiring and they are full of curiosity. But also there's that look of why are you here? And I think if you could zoom in the video and see how the ladies were looking like, those were mean looks. There's a sister that went to a safari in Namibia and she was majorly with lots of palm-colored people. And they were looking at her, asking her, oh, where are you from? She is black. Actually, she says she's from America. And they're like, why are you here? So basically, for the most part, their curiosity is not in a way that it's not a good one. And I think she explained it better than I would even ever put it. They have that monitoring spirit of always wanting to figure out people, wanting to know where you're from, why are you here, can you afford this? Because according to them, they are the only people that are supposed to enjoy all the good things of life. You are supposed to be dining with, I don't know, whatever, and in spaces that do not look as good as they are in. And a lot of them are defensive about it. But I don't think they would be okay if we give them that look. Like if melanated people give them that look. It's not just only in Africa, but every other tourist places. You realize that black people, sometimes they be taking pictures and all of that. There's someone that is ready to mind a black person business, even when our people don't mind none of theirs. It's very disrespectful. It's not nice. It's not nice. And it is giving hatred. It's giving a lot about you. And unfortunately, a lot of them cannot mask it really nicely. But what is wrong with these people? Like, can't we all exist and be at peace and be okay? Like, can't we just exist and mind our business and you mind yours? Okay, if you don't like us, it's okay. We don't care. It's okay, we don't care. But can't you just, mask it really nicely and you keep it going, do whatever you have to do? They micromanage you in hotels, micromanage you at work, micromanage you when you are shopping. Their eyes are on you. Because do you think that black people do not have money to spend? That level of disrespect and humiliating and belittling people and looking down on people because you feel like you're the best. When are you ever gonna get out of that? Because it is 2024 and people should have moved from that. But there's only one group of people that denies racism, that denies, doing any of this, but their actions says otherwise, and they continuously perpetuate and continuously display this. They can't hide it. So if you want people to shift, but you are not shifting, and I know that there are those that are good, that really don't care, don't mind people's business, but lots of them, for the most part, especially, you just be black. Just be black and just do your thing. Oh, if you dress nicely, oh, if you really have something classy about you, that's a problem. Oh, the problem will come when you are super educated, when you are super richer than them, when you are super talented than them. That look, honestly, it gives jealous, it gives envy, it gives, oh, how can you be better than me? How can you even be here? How can you even sit on the same table? That's why when black people go in rich neighborhoods, even when they move there, palm-colored people are going to be, uncomfortable. They will ask you, we've seen these clips, haven't we? Oh, what are you doing here? Because yes, in their head, you don't have the money to stay where we're staying at. And we're the only ones who are supposed to be staying here. Literally. And I think it's time to call it what it is. And I think I'm so proud that so many people are coming out to speak on these things, because for so long people have ignored these microaggressions and, just these little things. But I think it's important to address them. So, we know. And we have nothing to do about it, and you have nothing to do about it. You sit down and settle with it and swallow it. Your soul will keep dying within you while people are living and they are happy and they're just enjoying. What do you guys think? I want you to put your thoughts in the comment section and subscribe to the channel if you have not. And I'll see you in another amazing video. My name is Gracie and I love you. Bye.